Drugs. See your girl in the park. System overload.
This is Sean O'Malley, and you're watching Full-Time MMA. Don't be a bagel-biting, bagel bitch boy, bagel bitch back.
What is going on, Full-Time family? It's time to start the show. Gotta get my motherfucking hat on. Are y'all ready to talk some MMA? Holy smokes. We got some news today. A little bit of a shorter show. Not a whole lot of news, but we still got some pretty interesting things to talk about. So we're going to go probably for about an hour today. Then I'm going to head out. And yeah, we'll get back to the grind after work. So with that being said, everything's ready. Let me pull up the chat. What's going on? A someday in the building. What's going on, good sir? All right, so let's start the show. We got 12 people watching. What's going on, Full-Time family? I know this somewhat short notice, you know what I'm saying, but it is what it is. Jon Jones believes people want to see him fight Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Now, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. Didn't have a whole lot of time before the show. Honestly, I've been pretty busy today. But this is the first thing we're going to talk about. Probably, normally I arrange the show, you know what I'm saying? Normally I put these things in order, so I don't know the exact order, but most of the important things are up front. But either way, Jon Jones potentially making a comeback. We know he recently was given a 15-month suspension, which means he can come back, I believe, as early as like the beginning of November or at the end of October. So it put him in line to potentially be able to fight at Madison Square Garden. But it does not seem like that is going to be what we're getting. I mean, we're hearing about potential Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier fighting for a new title. Now there's talks of Yoel Romero and Alexander Gustafsson fighting for an interim title in the main event of Madison Square Garden. And a lot of people, you know, for a while we were like, damn, is Jon Jones going to be the main event? We want Jon. It made so much sense, right? I mean, and this was before he even got cleared. We were like, yo, Jon Jones can't even headline Madison Square Garden even though he's suspended. And then we get the news that he's unsuspended and it's a lock, right? Oh, Jon Jones is going to main event Madison Square Garden. But nope, that's actually not the case. It doesn't seem. It doesn't seem. Now, the UFC could drop a fucking curveball on us. All right, everybody, it's Jon Jones. Like it's up for air right now. The suspense, or it's up for grabs right now. The main event is in the air. The suspense is real, but we'll talk about the potential main event slot for Madison Square Garden coming up, because of course we're going to be talking about Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz announcing they're fighting for the title. That's probably what I was going to start the show with. Actually, yeah, we'll do that, and we'll talk about Jon Jones and boxing after this. Forward in the building, Rick Sanchez, MMA addict. Yo, what's going on? To answer your previous question about Romero and Paulo being beautiful in your vid, it's gay, but it's all good. Yo, I'm just saying, all right? But yeah, man, potentially now Yoel Romero being discussed for the main event of Madison Square Garden. It's being discussed. It's not official. I mean, and to our knowledge, Yoel Romero had a little bit of an injury, so he might not be able to fight, but we'll see. Maybe you know, maybe it's an injury that he would like to heal up, but he can fight through if it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Main event, Madison Square Garden, interim title? Fuck this leg. You know what I'm saying? Like, or wherever he's injured, like, I'm getting in there and risking it for the biscuit. So that could be something like that. But either way, if that's not the main event, which we'll talk about in a little bit, super fighter division. Chill, I'm down for it. Hey, someday. It's funny, Nate Diaz spelled it like that twice in the tweet, the division, but it is what it is, man. Dustin Poirier, Nate Diaz, we're about to get to that. Dustin Poirier and Nate Diaz claiming they're fighting in the UFC 230 main event and will fight in the new 165-pound title. But Dana White has denied this. Now, this is some weird shit going on in Ariel Helwani's got his popcorn. He's like, oh shit, now the fun starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's clearly a disagreement here. The fighters clearly feel like they're fighting for a title now in the main event for some reason, while Dana White's denying it. Why, you know, I don't, and there's so much stuff that could be going on. We have to wait for it to unfold, but I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? Why do these fighters believe they're fighting for this title? They're not pulling it out of their asses. Nate Diaz's tweet says, I'm happy to announce. He's announcing this. I'm happy to announce I'm bringing a new weight division to the UFC. I'll be fighting in the main event November 3rd in NYC against Dustin Poirier for the first ever 165-pound belt super fighter division. I'm happy to be a part of history. Now, super fighter division, I got no fucking clue why it would be named the super fighter division. Maybe because there's so many potential super fights in this division. GSP, McGregor, Diaz, fucking, you know what I'm saying? All of these guys that are a little, that could fight above 155, but might not quite want to fight at 170. 165 opens it up. Now, with that also being said, that kind of shits on Tyron Woodley, because if they wanted to fight at a new weight class before this, they had to go through Woodley. They make this whole new division. Now McGregor, GSP, Khabib, Diaz, they can all fight each other at 165 in a whole new division, and no one's got to go through Woodley. So Woodley's probably pretty pissed about this, but we'll see what's going on there. But not only did Nate Diaz announce this, Dustin Poirier did too, and these guys weren't posing it as a question. They're announcing it to their fans, to their followers. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't just lie to their fucking followers and fans if they didn't think they were fighting in this main event. They wouldn't be announcing it to their people. You know, Dustin Poirier says, it's been a long journey, but we are here. NYC, first ever 165-pound title in the UFC. There will be blood, thug jitsu. And this was, look at the time. Note the time. No, 9:47 and 9:54 p.m. So he posted this shit 7 minutes after Nate Diaz. You know what I'm saying? Like, right after. It's like they both must have just got the contract and signed that motherfucker. Like, oh, we're bringing in the new division, and they announced it real close to the same time. But check this out. As sure as they seemed, yo, I made 2 separate videos last night. I made the one with Dana White's denial, but that was the second video that I posted. The first one, this was all I saw. Nate Diaz on Twitter announcing, I was about to make a video saying Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier for the inaugural title, because all I saw was Diaz's tweet, and this shit seems official. He's tagging UFC, tagging Dana White like fighters do when they're making call-outs or whenever they're fucking announcing something. I thought it was official. And then 10 minutes later, before I could even upload the video, Brett Okamoto says just spoke to Dana White on the phone. He denied any plans of a 165-pound title fight at Madison Square Garden, says he's still working on a main event. And now, that also sounds like what's going on, because we're hearing talks today, and Ariel Helwani, you know, kind of echoed this sentiment, and we're hearing now Romero versus Gustaffson being discussed for main event. So if Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier are the main event, why are we talking about, you know, why would they be talking about Romero and Gustaffson? So somebody's fucking wrong here. Either Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier were misled maybe into believing that they're fighting for the title. Maybe they're making some sort of chess move like, hey, we hold the cards here. I mean, but they would have had to, like, collude for that, right? They would have had to, like, get a hold of each other like, hey, bro, we're fighting for this title or bust. You ready to fucking let your nuts hang? We're about to tell the UFC it's title or nothing. And I don't think they did that. But this is another possibility. There's a lot of shit that could have went on here. The UFC, it's not just Dana White running shit anymore. You know, it's WME. You got a lot of other people involved. Maybe, and Dana White has said in the past, you know, I don't deal with Nate Diaz anymore. We got a guy that still believes in Nate Diaz. We let them deal with it. And they got the deal done with Nate Diaz. So there could be other people in the ownership that have, you know, plans of Diaz and Poirier for this title, and you know, so maybe there's some miscommunication going on. But we've got a little bit of a situation here. Diaz and Poirier, two of the biggest fight on Madison Square Garden. They believe they're the main event now, and we already saw Nate Diaz get pissed off at the press conference whenever they announced McGregor versus Khabib. I mean, they already got pissed off at the press conference. Nate Diaz did, and walked off at the press conference. He already said, I don't even know if I'm fighting, just because of that. So now, what if he got led to believe, oh, I'm fighting main event for the title? He could get pissed off at this. I hope this fight still happens, but I don't know if it's going to be at 155, if it's going to be at 165. We've got conflicting stories, clearly. John Morgan says, should clarify, the fight is still happening, but not for some new 165-pound title. So there's people saying it's not for the title, but the fighters are saying it is. Now, the fighters can't just make a division themselves, right? They can't just say, aha, guys, you know what I'm saying? They don't make the divisions. So they can't make it happen, but for some reason they believe it is. We'll see how all this unfolds. But if they're not the main event of Madison Square Garden, of course, people were hoping for Jon Jones, but that's seeming farther and farther away by the day, because Jon Jones's manager, the UFC, Dana White Dana White and Jon Jones's manager have came out and denied Jon Jones fighting on Madison Square Garden. Now, of course, his manager added the caveat, as of right now, it's not Jon Jones. So it could be, but it's seeming farther and farther away. I mean, you can understand the reason Daniel Cormier doesn't want to take this fight. Daniel Cormier doesn't want to risk his Brock Lesnar fight. If he loses to Jon Jones, misses out on the payday for Brock, he'd rather fight Brock than Jon, not Jon than Brock, if you know what I'm saying. So Daniel Cormier might not want to fight him in the main event. And if not, does Jon Jones want that interim title back? His manager said he did. So if he wants the interim title back, I mean, we were talking about maybe Jon Jones versus Gustaffson for the interim light heavyweight title. And then the farthest thought out there that I really haven't heard discussed by anybody but us fans is Stipe versus Jon Jones. Now, I don't know if Stipe is going to be coming back soon. I mean, he gave us reason to believe he wouldn't earlier when, you know, Curtis Blaydes was calling out Stipe Miocic like, hey, you want to fight later this year? I think he was maybe even saying Madison Square Garden. I don't remember the exact location, but he was calling out Stipe, hey, we're both top contenders. If you're trying to get back and fight, let's go. And I think Stipe might, you know, he might be taking time off after that title loss with his new daughter and his family. So he might not be coming back in time to fight Jon Jones, but that would be dope. Jon Jones versus Stipe. Winner takes on the winner of Brock versus Lesnar. But it doesn't seem like Jon Jones would be on that card. And if he's not on that card, Jon Jones is talking about a potential super fight boxing match. He said he believes people want to see him fight Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. And I'm down for both of those fights. I'm not even the biggest boxing guy, I'm not going to lie, but just from what the casual boxing fan I've became lately, I'll admit it, I'm at least keeping up with a little bit of the storylines. I don't go to no boxing.com, but some of, you know, like Coach Shelton Harrison, he covers WMMA and boxing, so I'll listen to his boxing videos and it'll pop up other recommended boxing videos. So I'll hear what some fans say, you know, fan channels, as far as boxing. I'm learning a little bit as far as that, but I know about Joshua, I know about Wilder, I definitely know about Jon Jones. What are you talking about? So with that being said, I would like to see it. Does Jon Jones have a chance purely boxing? I don't think he's got a chance in purely boxing, though. Not against one of those guys. Not against one of the prime boxing heavyweights. It'd be like McGregor versus Mayweather, right? Doesn't have much of a chance. People would want to see it. But I honestly don't think Jon Jones is, you know, as pure of a boxer as even a Conor McGregor, who's, you know what I'm saying? Jon Jones has solid wrestling. I mean, he's very well-rounded. Conor McGregor, he's well-rounded defensively, but he's more of a striker. That's, you know what I'm saying? So Conor McGregor, I think he even transitioned to boxing maybe better than Jon Jones, but who knows? Like I said, I would still like to see the fight. It would still be an event. I would definitely still tune in if it happened. I don't know if Jon Jones has much of a chance against two of the best heavyweights in the world, it seems, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. So, but this is what he had to say. I'm kind of in this space now where I feel like I don't really have things to prove in the cage. I just knocked out Daniel Cormier in my last fight, and some people consider him to be the best fighter that ever lived. So I don't really feel like I have that much to prove as far as being a light heavyweight champion and defending that belt. Right now, my mindset is more about making money. Even those big fights, you know, I watched Conor McGregor fight Floyd Mayweather. It was high risk, high reward. You know, they're saying scared money don't make no money. I got to be brave when I get back in the game and start challenging guys that I could possibly lose to, because that's what people want to see. They want to see Jones versus Velasquez. They want to see Jones versus Ngannou. That's what people want to see. That's where my mindset is. Jones versus Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder, you know, that's what people want to see. Now, I love what he had to say at the end there. The beginning was kind of throwing me off because I feel I disagreed. But Jones versus Velasquez, I'm all the way in. Jones versus Ngannou, I'm all the way in. Jones at heavyweight, I'm all the way in for sure. Jones versus Anthony Joshua, I'm watching that too. But yeah, that sounds great. You know, I want to start taking high risk. Hey, what's going on? Not that I know of. Whenever Cassie gets back, you can ask her, but I'm live right now, so I wouldn't even be able to look. Okay. But I was saying, like, yeah, I love the sound of challenging yourself, but just to be honest, that's not what the guys at the top of the sport do. It's not about high risk, high reward. It's usually I mean, now, a lot of the times, it's the low risk, high reward, like Floyd Mayweather, right? Like you fight guys like Andre Berto, not the young prime guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, and kind of like, you can say what George St-Pierre's kind of doing right now. You know, he's at the top of the game. He's not taking the high risk fights. He's taking the high reward fights. You know what I'm saying? Like if he fights Michael Bisping, it's a high risk because you're at a new division, but at the same time, a lot of people feel like that's a beatable fighter, but at the same time, it's a high reward. You're winning a whole new belt and a whole new weight class. You're winning, you know what I'm saying, at 185. You're becoming a champ in a sense, and so that's a high reward there. Now there's some risk involved, but is it as risky as fighting like Robert Whittaker or Yoel Romero? Probably not, you know. And you could say the same for McGregor versus Mayweather. You don't got a lot to lose in that fight. If you lose in boxing, oh well, you come out looking like a fucking million likes, hashtag Fire Snoop. You come out looking good. You got punched in the face a little bit. Yeah, your cage, your eggs got scrambled a little bit. Your cage got rattled a little bit. But you didn't get fucking kicked in the fucking teeth. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you went over, you boxed, and by the way, you made more money than you've ever made of all time. You didn't risk losing your belt when you fought Mayweather. So I just don't agree when he says, you know, that Mayweather-McGregor was a high-risk fight for, because I don't really know what McGregor lost. He gained a whole lot more than he lost in that fight. And you know, so that's just on that point. But when he starts talking about Velasquez and Ngannou, that's some serious challenges. That's some high-risk shit. And what Conor McGregor's doing now, fighting Khabib, that's high risk. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's, there's a, shit, that's a high risk, and the reward is somewhat questionable. I mean, there's still a lot of reward in beating Khabib. He's got a whole lot of fans on top of being undefeated, taking a 0, and getting your belt back. There's a lot of reward there, but goddamn, there's a lot of risk as well. Conor could come back and lose this fight. It's not like he's only coming back and fighting fights he can win. You know what I'm saying? He's taking on fights that, and even the Mayweather fight, he didn't have a good chance at winning, but even if you lose that fight, you make a lot of money. Either way, I like what Jon Jones is saying. He's wanting, his mindset is coming back and taking these risks. I do like that. So, Jon Jones, hopefully he does come back. And like I said, I'm even in for the Joshua fight. Some people might poo-poo it and say, I don't want to see Jon Jones boxing. He's not going to win. You goddamn right he's not going to win. But it's an event. You're going to have the family over, whoever, friends, and it's going to be a fucking event. And then if you're a boxing fan, there's going to be a lot of boxing on the undercard. And if you're an MMA fan, fuck it, we get to see Jon Jones go at it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't like it, don't watch it. So, Jon Jones believes people want to see Joshua versus Wilder, and I'm down. Moving on to the next topic, George St-Pierre says it's unlikely that he ever fights for the UFC lightweight title. That's unfortunate because, boy, goddamn, have I been over here getting excited low-key. I know a lot of people, other people have as well, but about a potential George St-Pierre versus Khabib or George St-Pierre versus McGregor fight. Whoever wins at Madison Square Garden, I mean, we already are looking at McGregor versus Khabib as the biggest fight in UFC of all time, right? But what happens when you take the winner of that fight and George St-Pierre comes down to challenge for his third fucking title ever? The GOAT comes down to challenge the winner of that fight. We already got a new biggest fight of all time, and it don't matter if it's McGregor or if it's Khabib. I mean, George St-Pierre versus Khabib, 27-0, just beat McGregor. Of course, he's going to blow up if he beats McGregor even more. He's already huge. I mean, but if Khabib comes out and smashes McGregor like chicken, humbles him, he's going to have a whole lot of motherfuckers like, oh, snaps, this dude is serious. He's going to have a lot of fans. You know, people that don't like McGregor are going to automatically probably love fucking Khabib and a lot of stuff. So he's going to definitely raise his stock, as George St-Pierre would say, with the win over McGregor. So that'd still be a huge fight. But George St-Pierre saying it's unlikely that he ever fights for that title. Now, this could mean a few things. We'll read what he had to say first, but, you know, we've been seeing George St-Pierre looking real skinny lately, and a lot of people have speculated maybe he's going through a test weight cut. And if he did the test weight cut and he can't make it to 155, then, hey, it's not going to happen. But he said, one thing I know is the UFC will never want me to go to 155. Now, I don't want to nitpick it as he says it. I'm going to read the whole thing, but just that first sentence. You don't think the UFC would, if you could make the weight, you don't think the UFC would want you to fight Khabib or McGregor. Let's just speculate and say McGregor wins now, because I already talked about if Khabib wins. If McGregor wins, McGregor versus GSP, you don't think the UFC would want that? I don't know. I don't know about that. But either way, let's read what GSP had to say. He said, "One thing I know that the UFC will never want me to go to 155. They will never, or they will be scared that I will ride off into the sunset with their belt again. And I understand them. I understand them from a business standpoint. I don't want any contract to fight somebody right now, because the minute you sign a contract, the mental warfare starts. The stress is something that amplifies everything. So I want to make sure I deal with it. I take care of it. When everything will be finished, I will be able to look forward. My health is the most important thing for me. But I'm absolutely not closing the door on fighting again. I'm keeping that door open. When I close it, people will know. But right now, it's held open." So he's talking about coming back and fighting. He ain't talking about who, though. You know what I'm saying? He did recently say why it wouldn't be Woodley. He recently said why it won't be at 150 or 185. He doesn't want to do that to his body again and overeat to have to be a 185er. So he doesn't want to fight at 185. Not super interested in fighting Woodley right now. And all we have on the McGregor versus Khabib situation is I don't think the UFC would want me to do it. You know, they don't want me to run off with the belt. Man, if GSP don't reconsider the nicest way I can put it, I don't know what he's thinking. I know he don't smoke, so he ain't smoking nothing. But Nate Diaz or Nick Diaz might have passed him the motherfucking bong. You're crazy if you think the GSP or the UFC, the GSP. You're crazy if you think the UFC would not let him fight this fight. Brock Lesnar's about to fight for a title. Ain't no guarantee that motherfucker stays around. He might take the UFC title and run to the WWE. Oh, by the way, Colby Covington's the interim title. Ain't no guarantee he stays around. They let Darren Till fight for a title. Ain't no guarantee he makes weight. I'm just saying. There's a lot of risky-ass title fights, and this just so would happen to be it would be the biggest fight of all time. And they got a loan to pay back. They got some money to pay back. You think they would let the fact that you might run off into the sunset? They might run off into the fucking sunset after this fight. It's going to be a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So, if Khabib wins or if McGregor wins, I think if GSP can make the weight, they would let it happen. Now, here's the thing. Maybe not at 155, but we've already talked about earlier in the show, 165. Diaz and Poirier are talking about opening up that division. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a division that the UFC could probably put a little more stock into GSP. All right, he'll probably fight at 165. He'll probably stay here. He probably won't run off into the sunset, right? I mean, he can make the weight a little easier. He ain't got to cut all the way to 155 multiple times. And we could still... Oh, and by the way, if GSP fight... Like, let's say McGregor... Well, he would have to fight the winner of Diaz and Poirier. But, okay, let's say GSP... No, that's going too far into the future. But I'm just saying, that 165-pound division would still be technically GSP's third weight class, third belt. Also, if McGregor fought at 165... Let's even say he lost to Khabib, right? If McGregor goes up to 165, he'd still be fighting for the third belt in a third weight class. It wouldn't be simultaneous, but it would still be kind of the same achievement GSP's going for. Now, we have to see how all of this plays out. All we can do is speculate right now, but goddamn, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of irons in the fire. We still don't know it, and day by day, man, just more bombshells are going to be dropping from the UFC because there's so much moving parts right now. So unpredictable how things are going to play out. It's crazy, but I think that makes it better for us. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, but GSP is, pointing out the fact that the USP might... The USP. I'm mixing up. I did that multiple times now. GSP and the UFC. But, I mean, of course, that is a good point. The UFC wouldn't just want him to run away with the title and get the money and run, per se. But at the same time, they would make a lot that night. And what's worst case scenario? GSP vacates and some fucking stud like Tony Ferguson or Dustin Poirier are the champion. like if GSP... Somebody made this argument the other day. They were like, Who was it? They said they're not the real champion because they didn't beat the champion. Oh, Khabib. I'm a Conor McGregor fan. I'm a Khabib fan. People think I'm a Conor McGregor dick rider. I'm actually not. I'm just calling it how I see it. And if I'm hyped up on what Conor's doing, I'm hyped up on what Conor's doing. But here's the thing. Someone came at me and said, oh, how's Khabib the real champion? He never beat Conor McGregor. He's not the real champion. I'm a Conor fan. You'd think I'd say, yeah, fuck Khabib, right? No. That's not what's going on. Yes, Khabib's still the real champion. I put it like this. So are you saying Cyborg's never the real champion until she beats GDR? Because she didn't beat GDR? GDR got stripped. Conor got stripped. Are you saying that the winner of Valentina versus Joanna is not going to be the real champion because they didn't beat Nico Montano? She got stripped. Conor got stripped. You can't say after a fighter gets stripped that the next fighter's not the real champion. When you look at the matchup, who's the favorite? Khabib versus Conor. Right now, Khabib's the favorite. He's got the better matchup. If Conor wins, you're expecting him to pull off some finish. You ain't expecting him to beat Khabib up for over 5 rounds. You're expecting a knockout or a submission. And if he gets taken down, good luck. So, with that being said, that's the case for every lightweight in the world as far as Khabib Nurmagomedov is concerned. When you put Khabib against Tony Ferguson, who do you think's going to win? Who's the favorite? Khabib. You're hoping Tony Ferguson pulls off a submission or attacks from the bottom. You'd like to see the matchup, but you think Khabib wins. Same with Diaz. Same with Poirier. All the lightweights, when you look at Khabib, he's 26-0. He's beat Barboza, and he's got a favorable matchup against a lot of the top guys. So with that being said, I mean, Khabib is the champion, undisputed, and that's what I called him. I called him the undisputed champion, and they said he's not undisputed. And that's really where the argument came in, because it's like, undisputed is just when there's not an interim champion. It's not until you beat Conor McGregor. So with that being said, GSP, talking about that potential fight, but let's pull up the chat for a little bit and then get back to the news. I know I've been over here ranting and rambling and shit. What's going on? Forward in the building, travel safe, bro. John Doe in the building. Can't tell if it will or won't happen. Lex says they're creating a whole weight class to avoid T Wood. That's what I'm saying. It kind of looks like that, right? I wonder what T Wood has to say. Like, because in order for anybody to get a third title, in order for GSP to get that 170 belt back, in order for a new title, they have to go through Tyron Woodley. But if they open up this 165 division, Tyron Woodley just, unless he goes down to fight. But do you think, this is what's funny, they're going to open up that division, right? Do you think that they would let Tyron Woodley get like one of the first cracks at that title? Like try and cut the extra 5 pounds? Like, all right, Woodley, we're opening up 165. Since you're the 170 champ, we feel like it's right that you fight for this title. I mean, you're the closest champion. Fuck no. We're going to have some shit like Diaz versus Poirier, winner fights GSP, and then GSP fights the winner of McGregor versus Khabib. No Tyron Woodley in that picture. That's crazy. That's fucking funny. Israel A says UFC will fade away and classify itself as obsolete. Israel A, Yadong in the building. MMA King Jr. says, I wish GSP would not duck Silva in their prime, or did not duck Silva in their primes. I mean, that would have been a good fight. And honestly, that's a fight that people were still talking about, a potential for, you know, the UFC's going to Toronto. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, though, because we have a title fight on that card with Joanna and Valentina. And unless GSP and Silva were going to be a co-main event, and that's not going to happen. So, yeah, that's a fight I would still like to see. But it's kind of like Pacquiao and Mayweather, right? It's like 5 years, fucking 10 years too late. But either way, I want to see it, right? but I hear what you're saying. Him says, I like GSP, but I'm tired of him now. Ever says GSP for 165 title. That'd be dope. I mean, but who would he fight as of right now? And if they're going to make that division, right, fucking wait for the, don't open it up with McGregor versus, don't open it up on short notice with Diaz versus Poirier. You already announced that as a lightweight fight. Now we're going to open up a whole division, change things. I really don't like how that, I mean, I'll take it because I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to sit here and nitpick, you know, be positive and see where it goes. But I just don't like how that sits, you know, opening up a whole new division on fucking 1 month's notice after it was already announced at lightweight on Diaz and Poirier just because we need a title fight. I mean, you know, there's so I don't really like how that sits. But if you do want to open up that division, if we wait for McGregor to fight Khabib, why don't we open that shit up with the winner of McGregor versus Khabib versus GSP at 165. If Khabib wins, boom, Khabib versus GSP, 165 title. Khabib or GSP still fighting for his third belt. Khabib undefeated, moving up to fight for his second belt. It's still a big fight. If Conor wins, he's going up to fight for his third belt. GSP is going to fight for his third belt. Winner's the motherfucking champ. No matter what, 165 title. So that would be a dope way to introduce the title, and you could build a whole fucking event around it and market it. The opening of the 165-pound division, McGregor versus Khabib, winner gets their third belt, and then you can open up the whole fucking division. I like the 165-pound division because the 155-pound division is stacked, 170 is stacked. Those guys can file in, and we can have 3 solid divisions right there. And it may, I do like that, man, but I don't know if this short notice and stuff like that, but yeah, man. Ever79 says Jon Jones is sociopath, but we all love a good villain, so I'm rocking with Jones. Hey, hell yeah, man. Jon Jones is still gonna have fans, you know. Like, yeah, everybody loves a good villain. You can be a fucking heel, as they say, but there's gonna be people that still love you and support you no matter what. Forward says Jones would probably lose a pure boxing match with Gustaffson. His background, let's forget, is Greco-Roman wrestling. That's what I was saying. Like, that's why I don't think he translates as well over to boxing as even a McGregor forward. Yeah. Dutch Style Black Cloud says, remember when Dana said there won't be WMMA in the UFC? You also remember when he said the Bisping versus GSP ship is sailed? You also remember when he said that GSP is going to be fighting the winner of Maia versus Woodley? Yeah, no, he said a lot of things that actually weren't true. So, but he also says some stuff that is true. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes things change, so people still listen to what he has to say. It's not like he just comes out and lies every time. Forward says, I remember when Dana said there will never be female fighters in the UFC. Yeah, man. A Someday says, I don't understand how the UFC messed this up. How can you make an MSG card without ever having plans in place for the main event? Yeah, man. You got a good point. And you know, part of me feels like a kid who's getting the main event held from him. Like, honestly, all of the signs are going away from Jon Jones being in the main event. But part of me feels like that motherfucking has to be the main event. Come on, dude. And honestly, that would also, to what you said, I mean, it would make a lot more sense. Fucking Jon Jones coming back from Madison Square Garden. He just got cleared right before Madison Square Garden. So Jon Jones is back. We're over here knowing Jon Jones is back, and we're over here scratching our asses trying to figure out what interim title can we put over Diaz versus Poirier. Come on. It's like, come on. I know you motherfuckers got me the game I wanted. Give me the shit so I can play it on Christmas Eve. Don't act like you didn't get the shit. Well, I gotta wait till tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. I really feel like Jon Jones, come on. He's from fucking New York. What are we doing? So, I hear you, man. It's kind of... And even Gustafsson versus Romero, which we're about to talk about now. Take out fucking Romero, who, by the way, is supposed to be injured, and put in Jon Jones. Jones versus Gustafsson. What? I'm just saying. What are we doing here? I don't know. But Gustafsson versus Romero is in the works for UFC 230. According to a report from Arrowhead One, he says the UFC is seriously discussing booking Yoel Romero versus Alexander Gustafsson at light heavyweight for the MSG card on 11/3. According to multiple sources, this isn't finalized, though a title would be on the line with both interim and official options discussed. So there's a lot of discussions going on. But like I said, you guys remember Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero? You know when that was supposed to happen? That was supposed to happen at MSG. And I'm going to tell you, as someone who has a small MMA channel, people were excited to see that fight. Like, I did a Q&A not too long ago, and 3 of the fucking questions came in. What do you think about Romero versus Gustafsson? Maybe 4. Or, not Romero versus Gustafsson. They said, what do you think about Romero versus Costa? Romero versus Costa. What do you think about Costa versus Romero? The Eraser versus the Soldier of God. Like, people wanted to see that fight. It's a great fight. And now it's like, you know, Romero was injured for that fight, so who knows? Maybe Romero don't want no smoke with Costa. I would be surprised. Romero's a fucking beast, and he's been fighting the best middleweights in the world. So I don't know why he would duck Costa. Maybe he sees something there that he don't like. I don't know, but he was injured for that fight, it seems. That was going to happen later, early 2019. But now the UFC needs a main event, and maybe it's worth it. Maybe Romero, it's an injury that he would like to be at 100% for. You know, I'm not going to fight this fucking up-and-comer when I'm not at 100%. You guys want to try and feed me to this young lion? All right, let me heal up and be 100%. Oh, ring. You want me in the main event of Madison Square Garden? Oh, yeah. Fuck this labrum. I'm coming and I'm fighting. I'm doing physical therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that could have something to do with, like, it could be an injury that wasn't super serious that he can fight through. I mean, not advisable fighting Alexander Gustafsson, not at 100%, but you're going to get a lot of money and you're going to be main eventing Madison Square Garden, so of course it's worth it, even if you're hobbling in there. So it's a different situation, maybe one that's more worth your while. But Romero versus Gustafsson, honestly, and like I said, I'm not trying to be negative on this. I would love the fight. It'd be a great fight. I want to see that fight. I'm down with it. I would watch it, and I would still support the pay-per-view. But it would still, I feel like, be just a little bit of a letdown. Just a little bit. Nothing wrong with a little letdown. Still a great card. Still Diaz versus Poirier. But when we're talking about Jones versus DC, Jones versus Gustafsson, Jones versus Stipe, just as fans, when we're talking about fucking all these big fights, and we're thinking, we had our mindset on a huge fight. Like, what's going to be it's Madison Square Garden, UFC 230. Oh, shit, Jon Jones is back. But he's not fighting. You know, so it would just be a little bit of a letdown, right? Romero versus Gustafsson is no Jones versus Cormier 3. But at the same time, it'd be a good fight, and we still got a lot of other good fights on the card. So we'll see if this comes to fruition, but it is being discussed right now. I'm saying book Jon Jones. What are we talking about? But we'll see what happens, man. Now, somebody brought this up to me. I saw the headline. I hadn't actually paid attention to the story. We got some crazy shit going on here. I don't know what to believe, so of course we're not going to make any speculations. The story seems a little fishy. We recently saw a situation where Nick Diaz had a little bit of a domestic battery incident, it seemed, but come to find out it was a crazy stalker chick. He got cleared of the charges, and that happens sometimes. You know, people know you're a UFC fighter, a chick specifically, crazy chick. She wants something from you. Maybe she's drunk, a little aggressive. You know what I'm saying? She's drunk, and you don't do what she wants or whatever the fuck, and she gets pissed off and fuck you. I'm gonna ruin your life. You don't want you fucking cheating on me? You want her, not me? Like, you know how that shit gets. Oh, you want to fuck these other girls? What about me? Fuck you. You raped me. And especially with this whole Me Too movement shit going on, of course, there's a lot of creeps out there. But Abdul Razak Al-Hassan does not strike me as one of those guys. He does not strike me as someone that needs to take the pussy. He is not no fucking 60-year-old ugly ass actor fucking dude that is trying to, you know what I'm saying, get with young chicks. He's a fucking prime UFC fighter that's built as fuck and could probably walk into a room and have his selection, whether or not somebody, you know what I'm saying, like he could have his selection of chicks. So I don't see why he would do this. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but we still got to cover it because I guess charges were filed. So 5 months before Abdul Razak Al-Hassan knocked out Nico Price, the welterweight fighter was freed on a $20,000 bail bond for sexual assault charge. It says he might not have even made the fight if the judge didn't grant his request to modify the terms of his bail so he could train and fight outside of his hometown, according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Says the newspaper, citing court records, reports that Alhassan, 33, was indicted Monday on 2 counts of sexual assault. He's accused of driving home 2 intoxicated women and raping both of them inside their homes. MMA Junkie was unable to reach Alhassan or his management in a request to comment from the UFC went unanswered. An arrest warrant affidavit obtained by the Star-Telegram said the alleged victims, 20 and 22, were friends who attended a birthday party for Fort Worth police officer at the Varsity Tavern bar where Alhassan worked head of security. So allegedly it was a police officer's birthday party. Like, why the fuck would a UFC fighter rape 2 chicks? You know what I'm saying? From like, who would do anything stupid at a police officer's birthday party? people probably ain't even getting in fights at this party. You know what I'm saying? This is a cordial ass party. We're having a good time, but it's a fucking police officer. Ain't nobody trying to get in no trouble tonight, because this motherfucker he'll bust off his motherfucking birthday party suit and arrest your ass. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, man. It doesn't. And when you hear the story, I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion. You know what I'm saying? He's charged. This shit's going to come out in court. We're going to see the details, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't see why he would do this, and it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he would, but I don't know the guy personally, but it just don't make too much sense. A police officer's birthday party. Now, but let's continue. There's more of the story that I'm like, what? But either way, it says, the 22-year-old asked Alhassan to get them in, and Alhassan agreed in return for her phone number, which she gave him. The 20-year-old said after the two consumed a lot of alcohol, the 20-year-old lost sight of her friend and found her later in a utility closet making out with Alhassan. So got too fucking drunk and she was down to make out with him in the closet. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that's worth. Now, clearly that doesn't mean that, yes, I want to have sex with him. Well, maybe it does in that moment, but it doesn't mean that I want to go home and have sex with him. You know, maybe she just wanted to fucking make out with him in the closet. You know, either way. She said her friend was heavily intoxicated and didn't remember what had happened. Like all of us, right? Alhassan might not have fucking remembered what happened. Hopefully for him, he did. Because wouldn't that be some bullshit if you got drunk and you didn't remember what happened and somebody's talking about you fucking raped him and you're like, I'm not a fucking rapist. I wouldn't do that, but I can't remember what happened. That would suck. But either way, it says the next thing the 20-year-old alleged victim remembers is arriving at her home in nearby Saginaw, Texas, and Alhassan carrying her friend into her bedroom. She believed Alhassan had left, but when she returned from getting a glass of water, he was standing in the corner of the room. It was then that Alhassan allegedly grabbed her from behind and shoved her face first in the bed and raped her. The 20-year-old alleged victim said she couldn't scream because her face was in the bed. She claims Alhassan then moved on to her older friend and also raped her. After the alleged assault ended, she went to her mother, who was also in the house, and to report something was wrong with her friend. The friend was vomiting and partially undressed. Probably fucking alcohol poisoning. I don't know, man. I don't want to, you know, of course, because if these girls were actual victims, I don't want to, you know, shame them or nothing. I'm just saying, just as a fucking human being that goes to fucking parties and has been to parties and has been drunk and has knows, you know, my girl's a fucking bartender. I've seen drunk chicks, drunk dudes, been to parties. I used to have a party house, and a lot of times chicks get fucking drunk. 22-year-old chicks. Back when I was 24, I literally had a party house that I fucking was in charge of throwing the parties every night, Monday through Sunday. It was like degenerate shit. Wasn't no days off. We had theme parties because there were so many fucking parties, because we just so happened to come across a rental house no one gave a fuck about. It was my friend's sister's house, and she personally didn't give a fuck, and it was already a mess, so we cleaned it up. We turned that shit into a project and turned it into a party house, and all type of crazy shit happens, and for some reason there was not no fucking rapes. We partied fucking 45 nights straight, and there wasn't no goddamn rapes at this party house. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my personal experience. And I have seen chicks, you know what I'm saying? Someone comes in, fucking wrestler, fighter, fucking basketball player, multiple chicks, you know what I'm saying? Want to fuck this dude. Drunk, he's drunk, they're drunk. I'm talking threesomes, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a possibility here, but they're saying that he raped them, and if that happened, man, that fucking sucks, and this dude should for sure go to jail. But I'm just saying, me personally, it doesn't add up to me, but we weren't there. And also, it seems like she's saying they both couldn't remember what was happening, right? They were both too drunk. They were both too drunk. Both of these chicks were too drunk, right? And one of them was 20. You're not even fucking old enough to drink, right? And keep in mind, we're at a police officer's birthday party here. So, does that mean there was underage drinking at a police officer's birthday party? That's a whole nother topic for another day. But either way, man, hopefully this shit didn't happen. Hopefully this is just, well, either way, it's fucked up. Even if it's just some scorned chicks that were mad that, let's say, you didn't want to fuck them. Maybe, you know what really could have fucking happened? Because he was working security at a police officer's car. These chicks could have wanted to fuck this guy. He could have just been giving them a ride home, you know, a sober driver maybe, or just trying to get them home. And when he didn't want to fuck him, it could have been now. Who knows? We don't know what happened. Maybe it was consensual and they were drunk and fucking their mom was like, "Who's this motherfucking dude in my house?" Oh shit, mom, he fucking raped her. There's so much shit that goes on, but goddamn, it doesn't look good. And I'm just saying, I mean, if we're just keeping it real, right? If we're just keeping it real, some fucking, you know what I'm saying, stud, prime, welterweight UFC fighter doesn't need to be out here raping chicks. So if he is, fucking shame on him. I don't know why the fuck you would do that. Makes zero sense. You can get on Tinder or anything, dog. You know what I'm saying? You look good. You can get in pause. You can get on Tinder and probably get 3 different bitches in 2 hours. There's no need to rape chicks. And why the fuck would you do it at a police officer's birthday party? Why would you go home from there and do it? Why would you think chicks there are chicks that you know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Especially, it just doesn't fucking add up. So, innocent until proven guilty, man. Innocent until proven guilty. That's all I'm saying. We'll see what happens. And if he is guilty, then fuck him. But I just don't think that he is. But that's just my thoughts. So, we'll move on from that topic. Let's see. I just returned. What the fuck is this topic says forward? I know, right? Shit got real for a second. Somebody actually asked me. They were like, yo, did you see about that Abdul Razak Al-Hassan shit? And, you know, I seen the article and I figured we would talk about it. But yeah, man. Israel Ace says, hashtag men too. Infamous MMA says, "Lo, this girl's 20. She shouldn't even be allowed to drink." Right? Ain't it everywhere 21? Am I not tripping? There ain't no like states. You know how some states it's shit differs. Is there some states where it's 18? In Texas, can you drink when you're 18? I thought it was at least 21 everywhere. But yeah, it's not looking good for him. But shit, it's not looking good for nobody. Why is there fucking underage drinking at a police officer's birthday party? Now, it doesn't look good for him just because they're accusing him of it. And how does that work, right? If you're a dude and you have consensual sex with the chick, you're both drunk, right? And you have consensual sex, and then she talks about fucking rape because you're some UFC fighter. She thinks you're rich. She thinks, oh, we just hit the fucking jackpot. Let's just say, speculate a potential situation. And you had consensual sex, but so now if they say that you raped them, how do you do a rape kit on that, right? And this is going way too far. You know, we're veering off from the topic, but hey, we're just chopping it up. But because there might be semen, right? I'm just saying, like, and we're just talking about in any situation. What's to stop a chick that you go to a bar, you have sex with the chick afterward, you go to her place, you take her home, either way, you have consensual sex, and the next day she's talking about rape. Well, when they get a rape kit, no shit, there's gonna be fucking semen. I just banged this chick. Yeah, but it was consensual. Well, we found semen and she's saying it wasn't consensual. What the fuck? Whoa. That's some bullshit, man. That's some bullshit. And I don't even know how he can get out of that situation because they said there was a condom. He probably did bang one of them. They might have both wanted it. Honestly. I'm just saying. I don't know, man. Unfortunate situation, though. Don't leave your condoms behind, fellas. Yeah, shit. Holy shit. Don't leave nothing, man. Like, what do you do? It's 21 in Texas. I live here, says MMA King Jr. So, yeah, so that was underage drinking right there at the fucking police officer's birthday party. What's going on there? And do you guys think anybody's that fucking stupid? I'm sorry. This motherfucker can't be that stupid. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan, he's not a stupid guy. He's got a career, a good career, a budding career in the UFC. He's a rising fucking star, potentially. He's got a great career ahead of him. Why would he fucking rape 2 chicks after a police officer's birthday party? Come on, man. What fucking sense does that make? But it doesn't ever look good. And it doesn't look good, and he might get fucked over here, but I'm not buying it right now, man. Spirit Jab said, nah, bro, I'm born and raised in Texas. This is one of the worst states for alcohol incidents. It's 21. Okay, so it's 21 in Texas. So, yeah, underage drinking at a police officer's birthday party. There's another can of worms that someone can open. Infamous MMA says he seems pretty stupid to me. Well, I mean, yeah, I haven't, you know what I'm saying? In my opinion, just he seems to have some sort of discipline to become one of the brightest rising prospects. And I've listened to an interview from him before, like when I think he fought on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. He didn't seem that stupid to me, but maybe putting himself in a situation like that, right? The fuck you thinking, going home with 2 drunk white chicks? I don't know. That's risky. You're risking it. I don't know, but you shouldn't have to fucking worry about that. Come on. So I don't know, man. I mean, maybe you know him better than me, but that just doesn't seem smart. That just don't seem smart. It don't. Not even that it don't seem smart, but it doesn't make much sense. You don't even have to be fucking smart. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with being smart or dumb. It's common sense. Who the fuck would, you know what I'm saying, try and do anything stupid at a police officer's birthday party? Let alone, I mean, fucking, if you're some serial fucking rapist, you choose police officers' birthday parties to start raping chicks? Like, come on. I don't know. Nick Diaz headlines UFC 230, says heart draw. I mean, that would be big. I don't know who you would fight. Nick and Nate Diaz would be fighting on the same card. I don't know if they would want to do that either, but it would be big. Nick Diaz versus who, though? John Taylor says, yes, people can be that stupid. Yeah, they can. People can be that stupid, but I don't know how far you would have made it being that stupid. I don't think you would fucking become... you know, there are some really good fighters that would do some stupid shit like that, I'm sure. But he hasn't struck me as one of those guys. And even if it was like a police officer's birthday party, man, I don't know. Maybe he was just security. Now let's play devil's advocate. Maybe he was just working security, didn't know it was a police officer's birthday party, and is a motherfucking a evil asshole person trying to take advantage of 2 fucking drunk young chicks. Devil's advocate, it'll all come out in court, but it just doesn't make a lot of common sense to me. And I would hope he wouldn't be that dumb, and I would hope his teammates, the training partners, like, you would know this guy. Like, it'd be crazy if someone like that slipped through the cracks to the UFC. So I don't know. We'll see what happens through the legal system, because clearly that's where it seems to be going. So but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I'll tell you that much. I'm not saying that he did it. I'm for sure giving him the benefit of the doubt. Nick Diaz gets paid to host parties and gets drunk and high. That's what Nick's been doing lately, says Infamous MMA. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good gig. It sounds like a pretty good gig. But yeah, so we'll move on to the rest of the show, because I have to be to work in 30 minutes. I have to clock in 30 minutes. So we got to speed through these last 3 topics. Condit versus Chiesa. I mean, normally we would have probably had a simp segment right there. But we don't got a lot of time, but yeah, these are the faster topics anyway. But with that being said, if you are watching the show right now, if you haven't yet, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. I know a lot of you are probably already, part of the full-time family, but we got a few more things to talk about. But if you are new, we do a daily show every single weekday, so make sure you tune in. The times vary right now because my work schedule varies, but just hit the notification bell, or you can watch it on a replay. Either way, subscribe if you're new. Tune in tomorrow. Bellator 206 is this weekend. Mousasi versus McDonald. Great fights coming up. Let's finish the show, though, you guys. We got Carlos Condit, Michael Chiesa, not even targeted. I believe this is official. Condit versus Chiesa is official for UFC 232 at the end of the year. Excuse me. Now, of course, that card seems to be headlined by Cyborg versus Nunes, unless they get another big fight added. You know what I'm saying? Like Jones versus DC3 or something, right? It's not going to happen in Madison Square Garden. But I'm just saying, it might get another main event, but that is going to have Cyborg and Nunes, as well as some other good fights on that card. It's the end of the year card. The UFC usually stacks that card, and it says that Michael Chiesa will move up to welterweight, take on the returning Carlos Condit at UFC 232 in Vegas. And this is a good matchup. Carlos Condit has lost some fights via submission. I mean, Damian Maia submitted him in the first round, I believe, and that's when he retired for a little bit, came back. He fought Neil Magny, and then most recently Alex Oliveira, who I believe also submitted him. But so Michael Chiesa, he's a very talented grappler, but he's coming up from the lightweight division. He can still get a submission. I mean, weight doesn't mean everything as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned. You can get submitted by someone smaller than you if you're not as well versed on the mat. And so Michael Chiesa's got a good chance at winning this fight. But the question really is, if Carlos Condit wins, is Michael Chiesa gonna sue him? No, that's a joke. But either way, Michael Chiesa does have that lawsuit going on with Conor McGregor right now, and you know, he's one of the only fighters who was on that bus when he threw the dolly who has pressed charges afterward. And I mean, really, it's it's free money. It's free money, especially after that press conference lately. Oh, I'm sure Michael Chiesa's lawyers were eating that shit up. They probably were enjoying it as fans, but also as lawyers. Like, oh, this motherfucker just said he had lethal intent. He just said he was gonna kill someone if they would have got off the bus, or what, Khabib specifically. But either way, that's lethal. Conor McGregor had some lethal intent there, man. So what else happened, Conor McGregor? You said, why'd you go to the? So your boy got slapped. That's why, like, you know, they're probably taking notes and all type of shit. So Chiesa might get a little money from McGregor on that. You know, McGregor did fuck up throwing dollies through a window with a lot of other people there, but he was just on his fucking, who knows, jacked up on Mountain Dew. A lot of people speculate cocaine. I mean, it could have just been fucking pure rage and loyalty. I could get on some poetic shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was defending his homie. Say what you want, that's some loyalty. I mean, you can go whichever way. I mean, he might have just been too hyped up, been a jackass that night. Dana White, the UFC, and, you know, he called it the worst fucking event or something in UFC history, like the worst thing ever. So, yeah, it was a shitty situation from Conor, and maybe he should lose a little bit of money. It's not going to kill him. He makes a lot of money. I mean, shit, I can go bust out the bottle of Proper 12 right now. He's making plenty of money. So, let's say Conor McGregor has $100 million. Give Michael Chiesa $1 million or something and let him go on his fucking merry way. You still are balling. You're still good. You threw a dolly. You got to pay for it a little bit. It is what it is. So that's that situation. Now Michael Chiesa is moving up a division, though. Maybe now he's eating good. You know what I'm saying? Now he's about to be eating good from McGregor. He ain't trying to cut that weight anymore. He said he also has a new Fox gig. And you know what I'm saying? I believe Fox, he does some analyst work for the UFC now. So with that being said, he's moving up the welterweight, taking on Carlos Condit. That's going to be a good scrap, scheduled for UFC 232. We'll see what happens. But moving on, we got a couple more things to talk about. Overeem joining his ex-opponent Curtis Blaydes at Team Elevation in Colorado. And you know what they say, man? If you can't beat him, join him. No, but on a serious note, I really like this pairing as far as training partners. Now, it's a little, Overeem's, you know what I'm saying, probably not going to be fighting much longer. You know what I'm saying? His best days are probably behind him. Who knows? He might still have a good 5 years in him. Who knows? But people already kind of question his chin and just being, he doesn't really have a lot left to prove in the sport. But if he wants to keep fighting, by all means, do your thing. But with that being said, he's now training with Curtis Blaydes, who's one of the best wrestlers in the heavyweight division. So I really like that matchmaking, right? Or not matchmaking because they're not fighting each other again, but I really like this pairing as far as training is concerned. You got one of the best wrestlers and one of the most decorated strikers in the heavyweight division now training together. You're going to be showing me a whole lot more on my wrestling, and I'm going to teach your ass how to not get clipped up on the feet the next time you fight Mark Hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to teach each other. And so with that being said, Overeem joining Alistair Overeem or Curtis Blaydes in Elevation Fight Team. He says, from opponent to training partner, working very hard on my new home Elevation Fight Team. Loving the atmosphere, training partners, work ethic, and a big fan of Colorado Heights. Truly can't wait to showcase my progression in the octagon again. Just stay tuned. Yo, Elevation Fight Team down there in Colorado, they're doing their thing, man. They got a great team, a lot of up-and-comers that are fucking really good, man. Alex Hernandez, of course. TJ Dillashaw, I believe, is trading out, but I think he's going to California back and forth now. He's starting his own team, but either way, there's a lot of really good fighters. Curtis Blaydes, I mean, really, really good fighters out of Elevation Fight Team. So I think this is a good move for Alistair Overeem. And he's leaving Jackson Wink, right? There's a whole lot of fucking disparity and bullshit going on in the ranks of Jackson Wink right now. That's probably not good if you're trying to focus on your fight. You ain't got time to be worrying about what Mike Perry and Donald Cerrone and Greg Jackson, or not Greg Jackson, what Mike Winklejohn. You ain't got time to worry about what these motherfuckers are bickering about. Oh, who said this? Who said this? He said who's on steroids? And oh, by the way, you gotta be careful too if you're over at Jackson Wink. Jon Jones, you know what I'm saying? You better not be on no special supplements around. Jon Jones gonna be on your ass, man. I'm just saying, be careful around Jon Jones fighters. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. But either way, I do like this move. Who knows what it has to do with? I think either way, no matter what the reason is, he's gonna look a lot better in this next fight. I think so. Great team, avoiding a whole lot of drama. Jackson Wink has not been great as of late. you know, Jon Jones is back, but other than that, man, whole lot of shit going on at Jackson Wink between Perry and Cerrone and Jones, and Holly Holm. She's getting surgery, so she's not even there, but not like she gave Alistair Overeem a lot of work anyway. But either way, yeah, man, he's moving to Elevation Fight Team. I kind of want to play this, but I don't want it to have some fucking music behind it. So let me check if it has music behind it first. Mute that. Let's see.
I know about him and
Damn, I can't restart it. He said he's one of the first heavyweights I knew about.
Velasquez. Those are the who I heard the most about, like when I was in high school, like 10 years ago. Yeah, those are the names that popped out to me first.
When you look at Alistair's resume, you know,
Motherfucker, man, this is like a Alistair documentary or something that's coming out, a preview. Never thought I'd have the opportunity to train and learn from a legend and pioneer in combat sports. Having Overeem join the team Elevation, truly a blessing. And he's also reposting the Alistair Overeem little documentary. Hey, I'm all the way in for an Alistair Overeem documentary. Alistair Overeem's a fucking beast, and that story definitely needs to be told a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that documentary for sure. So that's gonna be dope. One more topic to talk about, full-time family, before I got a jet. Mauricio Shogun Rua versus Tyson Pedro in the works for UFC Fight Night Adelaide. This is dope. You got the boys back in town. Holy shit. This is going to be a fun card. If you're in Adelaide, how could you possibly ever think about missing this card? You got fucking Junior Dos Santos versus Tai Tuivasa. Now you got, of course, Tai Tuivasa's best friend and podcasting co-host Tyson Pedro taking on Mauricio Shogun Rua. So both of these guys are getting to take on fucking legends. And then, of course, you also have which it's not on here yet officially announced, Mark Hunt's going to be fighting Justin Willis on this card. So you got Tai Tuivasa, Tyson Pedro, Mark Hunt, Ben Tin Win, Paul Craig. I mean, how can you fucking complain about this card? I'm not even Australian, and I feel the fucking Australian pride for this card. I want to go to this card. You know what I'm saying, mate? No, I'm just saying, like, this is going to be a fun card, especially for Adelaide in Australia. It's a fight night. It's not a fucking pay-per-view or nothing like that, but it is a really dope card. We'll see what happens. Tai Tuivasa in the main event against Junior Dos Santos. Mark Hunt. This is like a passing of the torch, man. I think Mark Hunt said he only has one last fight anyway. One last hoorah or something. So, Mark Hunt, he's going to be over here probably retiring after this fight against Justin Willis. Who knows? And hopefully it's just the last fight on his contract so he doesn't actually retire. I'd like to see Mark Hunt in Bellator. You know what I'm saying? That'd be a good place for Mark Hunt. Well, maybe not. He doesn't want to fight fucking anybody on steroids. They don't even got USADA over there. And I'm not saying everybody's on steroids over there, but I'm just saying they ain't got USADA, so it's a little harder to tell what's going on. But Mark Hunt's fought people on steroids in the past, and he's probably down if the money's right. So we'll see what happens. But he's going to be taking on Justin Willis in this fight. So with that being said, I'm going to pull up the chat, read a couple comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Infamous says Overeem 6-0. John Taylor says, screw those crybabies. Only Ray Borg has a real case. Leon Dubson says, catch up on Archive full-time. I've missed too much. Yeah, we're about to get out of here. So catch up on Archive if you've missed the show so far. Just hit the rewind button. We covered a lot of topics. You can see what we talked about on the show today in the description box. And if you're new, hit subscribe. If you haven't yet, don't be a baby back bagel biting bitch boy. Hit that thumbs up button. On my screen, it says we got 35 people watching and 19 thumbs up. Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm just going to say that. I don't think you guys, an hour into the show, should still be biting on your bagels. But, hey, maybe you're hungry today. So, do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button if you're watching the show before we get out of here. Let's pull up the chat, and then we got to go. It just BMX says, hello, come drink a booty. Devontae Bartholomew, that reminds me of Owner's Pranks. Like a somebody. Devontae Bartholomew says, what up, full time? I leave Wednesday for fight. Oh, shoot. What, you going to Bellator, dog? Or you going to McGregor versus Khabib, right? I think you said you're going to McGregor versus Khabib. You leaving Wednesday, so you're going to fucking be in town probably for like a week. Yo, I'm so jelly. What you talking about, Willis? Says Connor Lodge. Mr. Perfect 2005 says, has a good one, bro, and full-time fam. Yes, sir, man. We out of the mustard and ketchup, says Israel A. Gokhan Saki called out Mark Hunt, too. Yeah, man, that's good. I mean, that's cool. Gokhan, that'd be a fun fight, but Gokhan Saki just got smoked by Khalil Roundtree. But, hey, he's willing to go up to heavyweight, fight another striker. I mean, that's cool. I'd be down for that fight if Mark Hunt wanted it. That'd be a bigger fight probably, but I just want Mark Hunt on this card. I really don't care who his opponent is. Benji says, oh, I missed the whole show. Just got here. That's all good. It was a pretty short show, only about an hour. So just hit rewind, listen to it later at work, something like that. But yeah, I'm about to go, guys. Good show, full time. Keep grinding. Yes, sir. All right, guys, I'm out. Salute to the chat. Salute to the family. Everybody listening on replay. Everyone listening right now. If you haven't yet, do your boy a favor. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. Also, make sure you check out UFC Yankovic. Subscribe there, man. As a matter of fact, let's end the show with the song. Actually, we're going to end the show with the Stockton Slaps song. O'Malley versus Quinones. Y'all ready? We just did our predictions for UFC 229. So, I'm feeling like, and Stockton Slaps, salute to Stockton Slaps. I don't know if I told you guys, Stockton Slaps is actually who got us that bottle of, what's the shit? Proper 12, dog. That's who got us that bottle. So salute to Stockton Slaps, aka Jorge 1 in the chat. I mean, he said he didn't care if I said he was Jorge 1. So Jorge 1, salute to you, good sir. Bellator 206, Mousasi versus, I don't know why the fuck I just clicked on that, because I'm over here talking, I'm multitasking, and I'm thinking about, yeah, so my bad. We're going to listen to this song, and then we're going to get out of here, full-time family. We'll listen to, no, let's listen to Fire Snoop. Let's listen to Fire Snoop. That's what I want to listen to. Smell you later, full-time family. Yeah, man, I'm out of here after this, and I'll see you guys after work tomorrow on the live stream. Let's go.
Fight back! Okay, okay. Beating him up like he got a bunch of help.
You know you fucked up, right?
Jump in, Big John. Jump in. You getting beat up like you getting jumped.
Mystic full time in the house.
I got my money on this Habib. I ain't never heard of him.
Let's get it. With so much drama in this day and age, it's kinda hard being full-time MMA, but I somehow, someway keep coming up with content for my hitters like every single day. Now let's get to this nigga Snoop. Disrespecting McGregor, thinking that shit was cute. Calling Conor a bitch, what the fuck does that make you? You ain't no big dog, old nigga, you a pooch. And keep it real, Conor didn't even fucking lose. Fool the Mayweathers made $1 million off them dudes, and that's in a pillow fight. Boxing ain't no real fight. How we get knocked out to walk out looking like $1 million likes? Snoop, I think you sipping too much gin and juice, cause something's gotten into you. What the fuck you thinking dissing one of the dudes getting you paid? Now a lot of people don't like you. Got him on Twitter yelling hashtag Fire Snoop.
I got Habib.
Biatch.
Put his nuts in his face.
Full time in the house.
He talking plenty shit.
Mystic full time in the house. Hold up, we ain't fucking done. Cause Snoop came back screaming fuck Donald Trump while watching Willie beat on Till. Look, brother, you need to chill. Darren ain't American, you must be off the weed and pills, the speed and seals. Cup filled with lean in the vodka. Snoop Doggy Dogg seems to be off his rocker. You don't really want any beef, this ain't boxing. This is MMA, will bring the knees up to your face or take you down and beat you on the ground. Khabib, when I speak to you between every pound, you'll be bleeding, I'll leave your ass up, face down, pause, walking around with no teeth, making not a sound. Super pause.
Skinny Bone Jones.
Full time in the house.
What they got you sipping on?
Mystic Food.